Now let's take a look at the infrastructures that control the economies of both China and India. We will begin with a brief overview of where Chinese government is today with regards to economic reforms. Since 1978, when economic reforms were implemented to transition from a centralized economic system to a market economy, China has, year after year, improved economic growth. These reforms have relaxed controls over pricing, taken apart the communal systems, released authority over state companies, built a financial market, and developed an innovative banking system. These changes also led to rewarding global business opportunities of exports and the direct foreign investments, resulting in being called the Chinese miracle. Seeing results from these reforms, the Chinese government pushed for more innovation and efficient economic reforms during the 13th Five-Year Plan. The goal with these new reforms is to improve domestic spending in an attempt to be more self-sufficient within its borders. Less dependency on exports and investments provides a level of economic protection against other suffering markets affecting their economy. We'll take a look at the change from communism to socialism. There were significant shifts towards socialism that include emerging into a new market economy, reducing controls over pricing, development of the private sector, fiscal decentralization, development of a financial market, and allowing greater autonomy of state companies. Capitalism is a touchy new subject in socialist China. Though the central government is slowly releasing its grip as the planner of the economy, it is not yet as encouraging to entrepreneurship as many Western nations. To start a business costs 130% of the average worker's income, and taxes eat up a whopping 64% of profits. Starting a business only takes 38 days. It's just going to cost you. Now we'll compare the Indian government to the Chinese government. Since breaking away from Great Britain in 1947, India has struggled to build a solid infrastructure within the government. Slow to take action, yet relaxed on controls, India faces many challenges if they want to compete with China. Early reforms focused on product and goods imports, reformed taxation, and relaxed state controls over industry. In fact, India was slated to outperform China in terms of gross national product in the beginning of the race to catch China that began in the early 50s. Recently, India's government has concentrated their efforts on a technological revolution to build India into a place everyone wants to visit. This chart details the implementation progress of recent reforms to improve the economy. India has 4 political classes with rich cultural values that impede government efficiency. Those classes are listed above. And they also play a big part in the internal infrastructure inefficiencies. And on to current day India government. Modi's moment is upon us. Reform is happening. Significant reforms are taking place, with continued focus on competitive federalism, disbanding the top-down mentality and replacing it with a bottom-up approach, large devolution of central resources to the states, increasing their share of central tax revenue by 10%. Government efficiency is improving considerably, and the number of stalled projects is rapidly declining. India's inflection point came in 1991 when the government embraced wide-scale economic liberalization, beginning with the transformation of the economy into a market-oriented system. Embodied in this was a conscious shift away from the license Raj, the post-war era of corporate bureaucratization and red tape that has stifled entrepreneurship and growth for decades. Economic liberalization has been widely credited as the driver behind India's rapid progress ever since, and rightly so. The economy grew 7-fold in the 20 years following 1992, and current far from Hindu annual growth rates of 6 to 8% speak volumes of the success of reforms. Today, India has a strong, diversified economy and is a world leader in various industries, notably information technology. Now that I've given you some overall background to the governments of both China and India, we will summarize this whole presentation with the reason many people compare India and China is simply that they're the two most populated countries in the world and are both in Asia. Today, India has close to 20% of its GDP coming from the agricultural sector, while China has less than 10%. India is focusing on technology innovation, while China is working on service innovation. What does this mean for both China and India in the years to come? Let's look into the future. Success depends on these factors. For China, they need to promote greater scientific development, better the quality of economic growth, increase the efficiency of the overall economy, promote domestic consumption, lean out dependency on foreign investments, and reduce imports, all the while facing their challenges within the government as well. For India, they need to improve infrastructure. This is a critical component. They need to promote greater innovation in the agriculture sector, reduce internal conflicts and social instability, lessen the political division within the government, lean out dependency on foreign investments and reduce imports as well, and improve innovation in the technology sector. Last but not least, to conclude, forecasting the future is always difficult, so the easiest way to get an idea is to take a look back at the history. Being that India is a runner-up to China with regards to size, it is natural to compare the two. Despite similarities in size, there are differences to be accounted for. One major difference is the cultural heritage. Another is the government's vision for the economy. We anticipate to see rapid growth for India when people in agriculture start moving to other sectors and enhance the innovation. We anticipate steady growth for China if they can succeed with the reforms this 13th five-year plan exhibits. Although growth is forecasted for both countries, we do not foresee India outperforming China over the next few years. Thank you.